Hi, I want to talk a little bit about making books and the size of the book you want to make. So I've got small books. I'm planning on bigger books. I had everything all set up. Bigger books, but this is kind of a weird one, weird length. You could do it this size. Another one, bigger. And my biggest planned one is huge. And this one, biggest planned one, is, I'm showing you half of the pages. So that's really the cover. The pages are twice the size of that small little bit. Use good quality paper, art paper, not printer paper. My small books come from an art tablet that's like this. I decide what I'm going to put on there. I work with my text. I decide, do I do any drawing? How do things look? How many can I do here? If I want to have something like this, then an A4 sized good drawing pad is very good. For a larger text, like one like this, where it's actually, two pages together, folded in half, then I use paper like this, which has the grid marked on it, and I create a template that allows me to see where the top margin is, and the two side margins, and the bottom margin. And I have two templates here, so I can vary the look that I am going to get. So here's one, and here's the other. And then I am going back to the regular, just lines. With a two-sided open ruled template, it's very easy to take your paper. Maybe you've got just one sheet of big paper, doesn't matter. Maybe you've got two or three or even four. I managed to do 4, and I put the template on top of it, unfolded it to hold it in place, and I first put a needle through the corners, the 4 corners, and depending on if I want just text, then I would make the spacing every one down, every line. But if I wanted music, then I might use music ruling and use this as a template there, or I might use an even smaller music ruled paper, because then I've got all the lines and all I have to do is draw from one side to the other. The holes will stay there, and if you can do more than one sheet of paper at the same time with the holes, you're going to be much happier. This particular odd-looking thing is meant for music, and I haven't yet created the template that I want for the music. I haven't yet decided what music I want to have there. I know that this particular page, because these open this way, that the pages, the music will be this way. Probably with verses as well. Why the spots? The spots are there because when I took a course about this, we were told to make it look like parchment. And to do that, we stained one side of each paper with coffee mixed with vinegar. And the other side of each paper, we left white. So that's why the coffee stains. Why would you do that? Parchment? Well, animal skins don't come without imperfections. Very few. Only the best, most expensive. So if I'm doing this to look like something from the Middle Ages, then I couldn't afford the best. So somewhat damaged. I'm not unhappy with it. I'm really kind of pleased with it. What I didn't do is make holes in it. And if you go in, well, other than the holes with the pinpricks, because some of the texts from the Middle Ages actually have holes in them, and they would embroider around the holes to make them more beautiful. I don't really want that kind of holes, so I didn't do that. But I am working on multiple books. I have one that's going to be a storybook, and you really can't tell very much about it. The template for it is made with exactly the same paper that I'm using. I'm using a very thick paper for this, because this paper should be able to take watercolor or light acrylics or other things like that, pastels, colored pencils, anything. And the holes might even be visible, but they really go through. And then there's a long place without holes, and then holes at the bottom. And the reason that I wanted it that way for my draft was so that I could create pictures. And unfortunately, I really can't show you the pictures aren't drawn, and though the lines are done, they're done, and the text is there in pencil, it doesn't show up yet. Anyhow, I strongly recommend that if you're making a small book, an A5 size, which is a little bit bigger than your hand, that would be a handy size, not too big, not too little. It would work very much like these, except the paper would be folded this way instead of this way. Gives you choices. Nice to have choices. And if you're going for a size like this, then just taking a page out of that, making your margins top, bottom, right, left, is good. When you're making your margins, and I think this one might show it, the outer margin is the same width as the two inner margins. The top margin is smaller than the bottom margin, which is much deeper. So as you make your different templates, and you can have different templates for different looks, then remember that the edges are going to be different than the center, and that the top will be probably about the same size as, no, a little bit smaller than the sides, and the bottom is steeper. That's the look. Have fun. Good luck.